Okay, next we've got the greatest car ever made, no one but, of course. Belgian Ideal. Haruhiko Tanahashi. The ultimate sports car. Lexus-like, precise. Accounting for the price tag, it is a performance bargain, car and driver.
I'm gonna say it. It's the best car I've ever driven.
Ouais, no klaxon. Elle est faite.
Toyota.
Toyota.
Pride of Japan.
Hello.
Land Cruiser.
안녕하세요.
Lexus. Supra. That's how me and you know them. But the world knows them for Camry, RAV4, and Prius. This is the milquetoast brand of inoffensiveness and reliability from the little island nation of anime and sushi. And rightfully so. They sell a hell of a lot of those cars. Like, more Corollas are sold every year than pretty much any other vehicle. But you see, sometimes Toyota can be more than a profit-hungry powerhouse.
Alright.
Sometimes they do something special.
They make a car that doesn't sell. Fair enough. 2000 Ti.
As if to say to the world, yeah, we make the automotive equivalent of beige paint, but we are still masters of the art of making cars. And their very first piece de resistance was the Toyota 2000 GT. Before the Supra, before even the Celica, before, well, any Toyota you even give a damn about, Toyota wrote a blank check and birthed one of the most unique and beautiful sports cars of all time. A fusion between Yamaha and Toyota that made an engine
The engine looks pretty good.
that
The body itself, I'm not really into it.
It had lines that defined.
Like, I don't know. I'm not especially into this kind of lines or body design, I would say, in terms of look. I guess I don't love... Well, I like long... Looks very expensive, yeah. I like long nose for a car, but... I don't know. It's a bit slim.
Sports cars for generations that followed it. Toyota took on the world of long-nosed, fast, fun cars, and they won. The 2000 GT didn't just change the world's opinion of Toyota, it changed the world's opinion of what a Japanese sports car can even be. And then, quietly, 33 years passed. Sure, Toyota had some hits, but nothing that even came close to the
Only
level
GTM
of the
car that's
2000
used for
GT
James
that
Bond,
broke
no?
the mold in 1967. And Japan, as a whole, never really rivaled that moment again either. 3 decades passed, and the automotive world exploded. Supercars became the word on everybody's mind.
That drifting,
Ferrari
though.
became the household name
That's
of
pretty good.
red paint and unreliability. Lamborghini gave us the Miura, the Countach, the Diablo.
Whoa. Okay, those are some pretty good ones.
Unreliability. Lamborghini gave us the Miura, the Countach,
Wow, this design is insane.
the
Yeah, that's also a pretty sick one. Yeah.
Diablo. Hell, even Ford made a supercar and took down Ferrari in their GT40. So why didn't Toyota, or really any company in Japan, make even a ripple in the supercar social club? I mean, sure, there was the NSX, but let's be honest here with each other. The NSX doesn't honestly evoke emotions like a Ferrari F40. It's less of a supercar and more of a mid-engine Accord. And I know you guys are already typing in the comments. Supra, GTR, GTO, and look, kids, those are great sports cars, but we're talking about supercars here. I mean, you just need to look at what supercars were doing in the 90s. A McLaren F1 could hit 240 miles per hour and had 618 horsepower. An R34 GTR made PlayStation noises when you started it and had about half as many ponies. There was the Nissan R390, but I bet you don't even know what that is because it barely existed. No, from 1967 until the mid-2000s, Japan really had nothing to stand toe-to-toe with the supercar world around it because Japan was known for 2 things: reliable and cheap, and definitely not change your underwear fast supercars. So it's 1999. It's the turn of the millennium, and it's time to change that. Japan needs a hero. An Enzo Ferrari, a Carroll Shelby. But where are we going to find such a person? At Honda? The best they could do was a V6 Ferrari. Nissan? They're going to give you a supercar made out of Frontier parts. Mazda? In the 90s, those were basically just rebadged Fords.
Damn.
Mitsubishi? We want a supercar, not a really fast TV. No, there was really only one company capable of taking on such an insurmountable task in Japan. A company with something to prove, and a company with a lot of money. Toyota. And it was Toyota, but Toyota just paid for it. No, the real vision here came from Hirohiko Tanahashi. It's the year 2000, and the world has been destroyed by computers and Y2K.
Yes,
and
yes.
Lexus, whose parent company is Toyota, started Project P280, a very secret project with very low expectations. Its goal? To create a supercar capable of going 200 miles per hour. And in 2001, Tanahashi is promoted to the head of Lexus's Project Z, where he began creating Lexus's new project car, the Lexus LF-A. Prior to working on the LF-A, Tanahashi had his fingers in everything that you love about Toyota. Soarer, Aristo, Celica. This man knew how to make a car handle. And his goal with the LF-A was to create ultimate driving pleasure. With his experience and his leadership and his ideas, Toyota saw a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to create something truly special. And once again, 40 years later, Toyota signed a blank check, and Tanahashi got to work. First step, Japan's Carroll Shelby needed his own Ken Miles, so he enlisted the help of Hiromu Naruse. You see, Naruse was a legendary Toyota racing driver, and also quite an experienced idea man. He had been with Toyota for decades. His hands were part of the creation of the 2000 GT, the entire Toyota Motorsport division,
that's a crazy looking one.
And of course, yes, everyone's favorite, the Supra. This boy had clout. He created a list of 500 specific items that a Japanese supercar needed to have. And this list included everything. The shape of the steering wheel, the materials used in the door cards, the angle of every single suspension component. Together, this duo started to craft the Lexus LF-A, an ambitious engineer trying to prove himself, an experienced racing driver that knows exactly what a car should be. If this all sounds very familiar,
it sounds like the perfect combination,
Ford versus Ferrari with a Japanese twist. All that's missing for this to be a truly similar story is endurance racing. Well, about that, this power duo continued to develop the LF-A from 2001 to 2003, tweaking, shaving, pushing the envelope wherever
what a bit
they
of time,
could.
huh?
There were hard times and challenges for sure. If you know anything about Japanese corporate structure, the bureaucracy must have been like 400 layers deep. Lexus or Toyota started to get kind of cold feet. Thankfully, Naruse had an ace up his sleeve. The crown prince of the Toyota Akio Toyoda, was willing to go to fight with the top brass at Toyota to get
his name is not Toyota but Toyoda, or is that a typo? Like, the Toyota guy is actually Toyoda?
Akio Toyoda was willing to go to fight with the top brass at Toyota to get the project to continue. Without his help, 3 years of hard work from these two would have been dashed away. The project would have never continued. And then, in 2003, the Lexus LF-A was spotted in the wild for the first time. Where else but Germany's Nürburgring? Because, of course, if you're trying to make the perfect supercar, you take it to the perfect testing ground, the most grueling and exhausting race course in the entire world. But it wouldn't be until 2 years later, in 2005, when Lexus revealed their LF-A to the world. At the 05 Detroit Motor Show, an all-aluminum prototype sat on display, claiming to have an absolutely wild 5-liter V10, and touting a 200-mile-per-hour top speed. This was unlike...
I haven't done since 2005. It looks like a car of today. It has a bit of a Tesla look, no?
Anything Japan had ever released to the world, and journalists went insane. The public sat with mouth agape and fingers pointed forward, reaching out to touch what could finally be the successor to the 2000 GT. This was no Supra, this was a supercar, and it challenged the narrative that everyone thought about Lexus, which is that they're basically for middle managers and people that think golfing should be in the Olympics. Toyota was totally surprised. They did not expect the hype that they received by showing this concept. After the Detroit Motor Show, Toyota started to take the project seriously. For 2 years more, the LF-A would stay hidden from the public, and then it came back in 2007 with some very real differences.
That's a long development,
First, instead of just being a hunk of sculpted aluminum, this new car had an actual real interior, an actual real mid-mounted V10, and the new, now synonymous with performance, Lexus F-Badge. More importantly though, the aluminum was gone. The car was now formed from carbon
quite different now,
That
yeah.
might not sound surprising to you right now in 2022, but in 2007, Toyota had no idea how to make anything out of carbon fiber. Only the most hardcore race junkies and supercars were made out of this stuff. This was the secret ingredient to
It looks much more like a Fast and Furious car now. Yeah.
make the secret sauce that was the LFA. And it was proof that the LFA was made without limits. Had this been any other project, Toyota would have micromanaged everything out of the car. It would not be made out of carbon fiber. They would have some power plant from a truck in it. The project would have been scrapped because it wasn't profitable. The LFA would not have been possible. But luckily for you and me, this is not that story. The next major milestone wouldn't happen until 2009.
It's sad because we know it
9
fails.
years after Tanahashi started his Project Dream car, the LFA was finally unleashed upon the world, competing in the 24 Hours of Nürburgring. With the express purpose of improving the platform. They didn't do very well, if I'm quite honest. One caught fire, the other one never got above 14th place, but the knowledge and the experience gave Toyota the confidence to go forward with production on the car. And look, even 9 years into development, let me be very clear, it is insane that Toyota went through with it. They are the stuffiest of stuffy Japanese companies.
Yes,
and
yes.
they knew this car was never gonna make them money. Yet here they were, it's 2010, and they were
sunk
about to
cost fallacy, right?
500 of one of the most insane supercars to ever grace the planet. They had to build the machines to make the car.
Okay.
Every single engine made for an LFA was hand built and signed off on. They limited production to just one car per day so that no one was rushed. Each LFA was unique. They might look the same on the outside, but there were up to 30 billion different configurations of LFA.
Okay.
And each and every one built was documented from start to finish with a 3,500-page booklet. Each car a piece of Toyota history,
How much did it cost, though?
cataloged for future generations to research. This truly was a bespoke Japanese supercar. Every bit as extravagant, every bit as over the top, every bit as expensive as the
does look
timeless
good.
Italian masters, and with a sound that would make even Ferrari cry.
Very nice.
From a company that was known for Priuses and 4Runners. This was a shot across the bow at the Italians, at the Germans, at the whole world. And the automotive crowds went wild. It was impossible not to. Car and drivers said that even accounting for the price tag, that the Lexus LFA was a performance bargain. Chris Harris called it the best car he's ever driven. So did Auto Week, Car Magazine, and even Top Gear's Jeremy Clarkson, which is why, naturally, everyone went out and bought them, thereby proving to Toyota that supercars were in
Are you
their
sure about
future,
that?
and that Toyota should remain committed to car enthusiasts, right? Well, not so much.
I
Can
see.
you believe that?
Everyone who wanted an LFA couldn't afford it. And all the people with old money that could afford it, well, they didn't really understand it. I mean, did you really want to spend nearly $500,000 on something with a Lexus badge on it?
Oh, so it's that much. Okay, it's that much. Fair enough. I see.
Performance be damned, you're buying a supercar, you're buying it for the badge. The Lexus LFA actually struggled to sell. I mean, there were only 500 of them. How hard could it be? And if that news isn't sad enough, well, brace yourselves. At the ripe young age of 66, while testing the Nürburgring Edition LFA at the ring itself, Hiromu Naruse, who helped create
die?
Japan's greatest supercar ever, sadly passed away in an accident involving the car itself.
Oh my
Well,
god. That's the worst. That's the worst possible PR. Okay, I mean. Okay. I don't know if this is the main reason, but come on. The little, like, one of the little creator of the car dying in the car itself. Yeah, at that point, that kind of kills it.
Sadly, the end of one of the most influential Japanese people in all of automotive history. It is not the end of the LFA itself, because in 2011, Lexus revealed to the world the Nürburgring edition of the LFA. Coming off as something between a tribute and a proof of concept, the Nürburgring edition LFA was faster, it was lighter, tighter, made more horsepower, and
Your
was
video.
essentially the perfect car
Maybe.
made
If I
more
feel like it.
perfect. With a 7-minute, 14-second lap time, the Nürburgring Edition LFA became the fastest production car to lap the Nürburgring. This was the
You'll be leaving
absolute
for a while.
pinnacle of Japanese engineering. Every ounce of performance squeezed out of an already perfect chassis. The engine singing a note that set your heart on fire. Razor sharp, refined to
This is great.
perfection. And then, 7 years after the initial prototype lapped the ring, spring. After countless efforts of hundreds of people, after untold millions spent, after the death of its own creator, after taking the world by storm, in December 2012, the last LFA left the production line. 10 years
We
of
got a
development,
650
2 years of
Neo
production,
Gen.
550 cars, all to change the definition of the word Lexus. A car that redefined the expectations of journalists and general public alike about what Japan was capable of doing when it just let its dreams fly. Nothing from Italy, from Germany or America held a candle to the LFA. And here we are 10 years later, and nothing has really beat it since. And that is the story of the Lexus LFA.
So it's still that
Thank you
good,
for
huh?
watching.
I see.
Thank you for listening. Consider subscribing to Ideal Cars. For now, I'll leave you with the words of Mr. Tanahashi himself.
I wanted to build a supercar that would take the driver.
For now, I'll leave you with the words of Mr. Tanahashi himself.
Okay, but I can't fucking read it. Thank you. To this state through the unity of its parts, something, 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 something. Great. Love it. Love it. Alright, well, it's nice, but definitely a shame it didn't really sell, right? If it's that good even to this day. It's kind of like similar things, you know, in gaming is the Dreamcast, right? Like the Dreamcast when it came out was very ahead of its time, it was really awesome and stuff like that. But it just didn't sell, it just didn't work. I guess there is a lot of cases like that, yeah. A lot of cases like that. Like, it's not that it didn't sell something because it wasn't good, it's just, you know, it just didn't happen sometimes. That's the way it is, right? So, very cool. Very interesting video. Very cool car. Yes, one said it's more like a demonstration, that's something they were really trying to sell, maybe. I don't know.